Have you ever woken up at 3 in the morning, stared at the ceiling in the dark, and thought, why can't I sleep through the night like I used to? If this has ever happened to you, take a deep breath. You are not alone. And most importantly, you are not broken. Millions of people exactly your age are awake right now, staring at the same ceiling, feeling the same silent frustration. It's almost dawn. The body is tired, but the mind simply won't switch off. And then comes that painful thought. This is just old age catching up with you. There's no way around it. I need to tell you something right now at the very beginning of this video. This idea is wrong, and it's harming millions of people who have accepted a lie that's too comfortable to question. Sleep after 60 really does change. That's true, but change doesn't mean irreversible deterioration. And there's a secret about sleep at this stage of life that most doctors don't have time to explain in a 15-minute consultation. A secret that, when you understand it, will change the way you see every night of your life from now on. Stay with me until the end, because many people will stop watching right in the middle just before the most important part. The part that shows you what to do today to sleep better tonight. Let's start by understanding what's really happening inside your body. Imagine sleep as a house with several floors. When you were younger, you would quickly descend to the basement, the deepest and most restorative sleep, and stay there for hours without noticing the time passing. Your body would recover, your mind would organize itself, and you would wake up feeling like you had truly switched off for the entire night. After 60, that house changes structure. You can still go down to the basement, but you spend less time there. Your body spends more time upstairs in light sleep, the kind that any noise, any light, any thought can interrupt. This has a simple name, reduced deep sleep. And it's not your fault. It's biology. It's the same process that happens to virtually every human being who reaches this stage of life. But here's what almost no one tells you. This change alone shouldn't cause the suffering that so many people feel today. The real problem isn't sleeping more soundly. The problem is the combination of several small factors that, together, transform nights that could be peaceful into nights of struggle. And the first of these factors resides within a tiny gland in the center of your brain called the pineal gland. It produces a hormone called melatonin. Think of melatonin as the switch that tells your body, now it's time to rest. When you were young, that switch was strong and obedient. As darkness fell, it would kick in, and sleep would come naturally. After 60, melatonin production drops, often by half. The switch is still there, but it's become weaker, slower to turn on. It's as if your house has a light that used to turn on with a simple touch of a switch, and now it takes a few extra seconds to respond. You can still turn the light on. You just need a little more help. And this is precisely where the hope of this video lies. If the problem is a weakened switch, then there are real, proven, and simple ways to strengthen that switch again. We'll get there. But first, I need to tell you about another factor that nobody talks about out loud, because it involves a subject that many people are ashamed to discuss. The bladder. After a certain age, it's common to wake up once, twice, sometimes 3 times a night to go to the bathroom. This even has a medical name, nocturia, but the name matters less than the effect it causes. Each time you wake up to go to the bathroom, you interrupt your sleep cycle. And falling back asleep, especially returning to deep sleep, becomes increasingly difficult with each interruption. Consider Linda, a 67-year-old woman living in a small town in rural Texas. For years, she accepted waking up 3 times a night as normal for her age. She never even told her doctor about it because she thought it was too silly to mention during a consultation. But those 3 interruptions were robbing her of the deepest, most restorative hours of sleep. She was constantly tired, irritable, with a weaker memory, and thought it was just old age. When she finally adjusted two simple habits, which I'll show you in a moment, the number of interruptions dropped from 3 to 1. And she said something I'll never forget. "I didn't know I could feel like this again." This is the truth that needs to be remembered. Many things that seem normal for the age are actually just unadjusted habits waiting to be corrected. Now let's talk about another silent sleep thief: pain. Arthritis, back pain, knee pain. At night, when the body is still and the mind is quieter, pain tends to become more noticeable. Many people don't realize they are waking up because of pain. They just feel like they sleep poorly without understanding exactly why. And along with the pain, another equally powerful factor comes into play: medications. Some very common medications after the age of 60 for high blood pressure, cholesterol, or depression can directly interfere with sleep quality, either making it difficult to fall asleep or causing awakenings in the middle of the night. This doesn't mean you should stop taking your medication on your own. That can be dangerous. It simply means that this is an important conversation to have with your doctor, showing them this video if necessary, and asking directly, "Could any of these medications be affecting my sleep?" Now, let me tell you about the quietest and most underestimated factor of all: loneliness. Studies have repeatedly shown that people who live alone or who lack emotional connection in their daily lives sleep worse. This is not an exaggeration. It's biology. The human body evolved to feel safe in company. When the mind feels lonely, even without consciously realizing it, it activates a subtle state of alertness. And a body in alert mode has much more difficulty relaxing deeply at night. This explains why so many people, after losing a spouse, after their children leave home, after retirement, begin to notice that their sleep has never been the same. It's no coincidence. It's the body reacting to a profound emotional change. And that's exactly why this video isn't just about biology. It's about you, about your life, about understanding that taking care of your sleep is also taking care of your heart. Now, a question many people ask is, how do you know what's normal and what's a warning sign? It's normal to wake up once, maybe twice, during the night and fall back asleep without much difficulty. It's normal to sleep a little more lightly than you did when you were younger. This is part of the body's natural process. But there are signs that deserve attention and discussion with a doctor. Feeling very sleepy during the day, even after sleeping through the night. Snoring very loudly, with pauses in breathing noticed by another person. Waking up every 2 years with a feeling of suffocation. Insomnia that lasts for weeks at a time without improvement. These signs may indicate problems such as sleep apnea, which is common, treatable, but needs to be diagnosed, not just endured in silence. The biggest danger, and I need to be direct with you now, is accepting all of this as just a phase of aging and never seeking help. Poor sleep year after year is not just discomfort. It's linked to a higher risk of memory problems, a higher risk of falls, a weakened immune system, and even a higher risk of heart problems. Taking care of your sleep after 60 is not vanity. It's protecting your health, your independence, and your quality of life. Now comes the part one know you've been waiting for: what to really do to sleep better starting today. The first step is to rebuild the strength of the melatonin switch, that hormone that weakens with age. And the most powerful way to do this without any medication is through light. In the morning, try to get 10 to 20 minutes of natural light, preferably right after waking up. This helps to reprogram the body's biological clock. And at night, especially in the last hour before bed, dim the bright lights in the house and avoid as much as possible the blue light from screens, cell phones, tablets, and televisions. This light tricks the brain, making it think it's still daytime, and this delays the release of melatonin precisely when you need it most. The second step involves the bladder, that problem nobody wants to talk about. A simple and effective solution is to reduce fluid intake, especially coffee, black tea, and alcohol, in the last 2 or 3 hours before bedtime. This alone reduces a good portion of nighttime awakenings to go to the bathroom. If the problem persists even then, it's worth talking to a doctor, because there may be an underlying cause that requires specific treatment. The third step is about movement. Many people think that resting more during the day helps them sleep better at night. Most of the time, it's the opposite. A light walk, 20 to 30 minutes, during the day, especially in the morning or early afternoon, helps the body burn energy in a healthy way, and this greatly facilitates deep sleep at night. The secret here is to avoid intense exercise too close to bedtime, because this can have the opposite effect, leaving the body more agitated. The fourth step is about a very common habit in the United States that, without realizing it, is worsening the sleep of millions of people over 60. Sleeping with the television on. Many people use the television as company to fall asleep, especially those who live alone, except that the constant light and sound prevent the brain from entering the deeper stages of sleep, even if the person is not consciously aware of it. Replacing this habit with a calm and constant sound, such as white noise or simply silence, can make a huge difference in the first week. The fifth step, perhaps the most important of all, is to take care of your mind before taking care of your body. If loneliness and anxiety are stealing your sleep, no single technique will completely solve the problem. This is where small actions with great power come in. Calling a child, a grandchild, or a friend before bed, not to talk about problems, but just to feel that human connection. Writing down, in a simple notebook, 3 good things that happened during the day, even if they were small. This helps the mind close the day with a sense of peace, instead of reliving worries in bed. And if loneliness is a constant burden in your life, seeking out support groups, community activities, churches, clubs, or volunteering is not only good for the heart. As you've seen, it's literally good for your sleep. Now let me tell you about another person, because I believe that real stories teach more than any list of tips. Robert, a 69-year-old veteran living in Florida, spent years convinced that his insomnia was genetic because his father also slept poorly. He drank coffee until 6 in the afternoon, watched the news late into the night on the television in his room, and thought it was perfectly normal to sleep only 4 or 5 hours a night, always interrupted. When his daughter showed him a video similar to this one, Robert decided, with some skepticism, to try it for 2 weeks. Giving up coffee after lunch, removing the television from his bedroom, and walking for 20 minutes outdoors every morning. He didn't expect much of a result. In the second week, he texted his daughter saying, "I think I slept 6 hours straight last night. I don't remember the last time that happened. It wasn't magic. It wasn't medicine. It was small adjustments made consistently, acting precisely on the mechanisms we explained here." This is what I want you to take away from this video. Poor sleep after 60 isn't a death sentence. It's a sign that some small but powerful adjustments are waiting to be made. If you recognized yourself in something said here about your own night, that's not a reason for sadness. It's a reason for hope, because now you understand what's happening, and understanding is the first step to change. Sleep after 60 doesn't have to be a silent and lonely struggle. It can return to what it should always have been: a moment of rest, recovery, and peace. You've lived through decades, overcome challenges, built a family, a career, and memories. You deserve peaceful nights. You deserve to wake up rested, with the energy to live the coming years with lightness and presence. Don't let anyone, not even yourself, convince you that bad sleep is just a sign of aging. Age does bring changes, yes, but change is not the same as giving up. If this video helped you see your nights in a different way, leave a like now. It helps many more people your age find this content. If you're not yet part of our family here on the Professor Rex 60 Plus channel, subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss the next videos. Because every week we bring you topics like this, thoughtfully prepared for you in this very special phase of life. And if you know someone, a friend, a sibling, a neighbor, someone over 60 who also struggles with sleepless nights, share this video with them now. Sometimes the simplest gesture of care is simply saying, "Watch this, I was thinking of you. You are not alone on this journey." And here, at Professor Rex 60 Plus, we will continue walking alongside you, night after night, achievement after achievement, toward a longer, healthier, and more peaceful life. Until the next video.